first of all, can you give me a little bit of a sense of what the money will be used for? So in terms of policies away from the armament, is it for, the lights? Is it for some of the grid from the infrastructure? How will you spend it?
At the moment, of course, it's the most eagerly awaited support which we received, and we're really grateful for support from House of Commons and Senate, and then Biden signed this as a bill, and we really appreciate the support from the United States. This kind of support mainly will channel towards our military aid, and part of it, 7.8 billion, will be used for budget needs, mainly to cover our social and humanitarian expenses, like salaries for teachers, healthcare facilities, doctors, nurses, and other staff which help us to cover our needs using this support.
And so, Minister, can you give me a sense, first of all, on how quickly you're expecting the actual money to arrive for the budget? And given there's no decrease in hostilities, do you see increased financial needs for this year?
Yes, we see great financial constraint and stress because of additional military expenses which we envisage from our budget. We already increase budget appropriation for a Ministry of Defense in Q1 for $4 billion. And it's like the most important item in our budget. That's why, of course, our deficit for this year will be bigger, but we should figure out the way how to cover it only by relying on our domestic resources.
But have you, with this money, secured all you need to cover the budget gap? And then what is needed for 2025? Can you give us an idea of the actual numbers, Minister?
2025 is very uncertain for us. We're not really to tell you what it will be in the budget figures, because the key question is how long war will be, and it's all which our estimation depend on. That's why now if a situation will be the same as it is in 2024, we run out of $10–12 billion as additional deficit for 2025.
Minister, obviously military support is crucial on the ground. As the finance person, do people, investors also realize, you think, how important the budget is to keep the country going as a whole? And if this money was so difficult to get, how much do you worry about the future?
We have a lot of difficult times in Ukraine. Now situation is very dramatic and dangerous in the battlefield because of lack of necessary military support and ammunitions, artillery shells, etc. But I think that the will of Ukrainian people, determination and resilience help us to prevail very drastic circumstances of this year, and as it did before. So I believe that support of our partner can help us to boost necessary energy and to craft this will to fight and to liberate our country.
Can Ukraine get what it needs in terms of money from Europe if the U.S. will not lend you more money?
For this year, we fully covered. What we expected from our partners we received, and now it's a question that we should cover our military expenses by using our own revenues, mobilization, and domestic borrowings. And now we are thinking about 2025 and how to cover our 2025 needs.
Russia has also, we understand, stepped up, of course, attacks on some of the Ukrainian infrastructure and some of the power-generating assets since March. What impact has that had on your economy?
They damaged a lot of our thermal power station, particularly 80% of our thermal generation capacity we lost during last months. and we lost 6 gigawatt of electricity generation.
And that means that you will need more money going forward. Again, I know it's extremely difficult to yeah.
It's true. It's a very sensitive question for us because we have only half a year to prepare our economy and our energy facilities for our next heating season. That's why now we try to try to attract additional financial resources to speed up this process, to bring necessary technologies in Ukraine to help us to cover this gap and to prepare our energy generations for next heating season.
Minister, I know you know this is maybe not the right time to talk about debt restructuring, but can you tell us whether you've started the talks on restructuring?
I would prefer to not to answer this question until the right moment we will be ready to make necessary statements because it's a very sensitive question for us.
Do you foresee maybe a situation where Ukraine would not need a restructuring?
Again, any comments from me for this particular points create additional expectations, and I would like to avoid answering this question. Sorry.